Hi boys and girls. I hope that you are all doing really well and that you're finding lots of fun things to do. You know, one fun thing that people like to do is to get onto a boat and go on the lake. And then they go fishing or they go sailing, or sometimes they'll stop the boat so that you can jump off and go for a nice swim. Have you ever been on a boat? And did you have fun? I know that my grandsons just love going on the boat with their daddy and their grandpa. And they have a really good time together. Well, in today's Bible story, I'm going to tell you about a time when it was not fun at all to be on the boat. The Bible tells us that Jesus was tired and hungry. All day long, he and his disciples had been going around busily teaching and preaching and healing people. Now it was getting late and Jesus needed to rest. So he said to his disciples, "Let's go over to the other side of the lake." And so the disciples and Jesus got into one of the boats and pushed off from the land. Jesus was so tired, he went into the back of the boat and lay down, and soon he was fast asleep. All of a sudden, there were some big black clouds that came up, and the wind started to howl. And the waves were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the rain was coming down, and the water was starting to even crash against the sides of the boat. Boys and girls, pretend right now that you're in a boat that's rocking and it's really kind of scary. So you want to hang on, right? Like, woo, whatever you could so you didn't get washed overboard. Well, that's what the disciples were doing because they didn't know what to do. So they had never seen such a huge storm before. They watched as the waves got higher and higher, and the storm got bigger and bigger, and soon water was coming into the boat. They had their pails and they were trying to get rid of the water that was coming into the boat, but it didn't matter. It just kept coming, and soon it was covering their feet, and then it was coming up to their legs, and there was more and more water coming in. It didn't matter what they did, more water kept coming in. And soon they thought, well, the boat is going to be full of water, and it's going to sink to the bottom of the lake, and we're all going to be dead. So then they cried out, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus!" But their voices could hardly be heard above the noise of the wind and the waves. It was dark, and they couldn't see where Jesus was. They were so afraid. Then all of a sudden a flash of lightning hit, and they could see that Jesus was in the back of the boat. And you know what? He was still asleep. They ran over to him and said, "Jesus, wake up! Can't you see that we're all going to die because of this storm? Don't you care?" Jesus opened his eyes. He looked at the frightened faces of his disciples. He could hear the loud noises of the storm, and he could see that the boat was sinking into the water. But do you think that Jesus was afraid? No, not at all. Jesus then stood up, he held up his hands, and he said to the angry sea, "Peace, be still," or "Hush, be quiet." Then all of a sudden, the wind stopped, the rain stopped, the storm stopped completely. And there they were on the lake. It was perfectly calm. Then Jesus looked at his disciples and he said to them, "Why were you so afraid? Couldn't you trust that I was going to take care of you? You knew that I was right in the boat with you." But his disciples, they were just so surprised at what had just happened. They whispered to each other, "Who is this Jesus? Even he can tell the waves and the wind to stop." The disciples were just so surprised that Jesus told the wind and the waves and the storm to stop, and it did. Jesus had told them that he would take care of them, and he did. You know, boys and girls, there are lots of things that make us scared. Sometimes it's a bad storm, or it's angry people, or it's loud noises, or barking dogs. But you know that Jesus says that he loves us, and he's with us, and he will always take care of us. I'm so glad that whenever I'm afraid, I can talk to God, and he helps me to not be afraid anymore. So on that, and talking to God is praying. So let's say this prayer together. All right, and you can close your eyes if you want. We're going to talk to God. Dear God, please help me when I'm feeling sad. Please help me when I'm lonely. I know that I can count on you. You are my one and only. Please help me to be brave today and take away my fear. I know there's no need to be scared, for you are always near. When I am confused, dear God, please guide me on my way. Help me to stay so close to you each and every day. Amen. So boys and girls, I hope that you stay close to God each and every day too, and I'm sure glad that you were watching me again today. All right, bye-bye.